Hey, crypto media friends, welcome to an overtime show here in the side hustle, talking about metaverse, NFTs, and things that kind of don't seem like they matter today, right? With the announcement of war and certainly what's going on in the world, I think we're taking stock of where we're at, and I wanted to take this opportunity to take a look at where we're at in this space and what the opportunities and or dangers of Web 3.0 could be in this space. But looking at markets, I think a lot of us are getting this. I don't know if you guys have been getting this sort of like, the crypto crash since the announcement of war has caused a lot of anger, and it seems senseless. And there's a number floating around of 5%. 5% is what stock markets have reacted to in terms of wars. And you can kind of see here, sorry, it's a bit small. Let me see if I can make it a bit bigger for you guys. But, in terms of just international incidents, there's a breakdown, just in sort of a very loose Investopedia article that tracks, some of the sort of the key in the past, 50, 60 years, 70 years of stock market reaction. It somehow includes Pearl Harbor that drags it down to 5%. I don't see the taking of Crimea in here, which happened in 2007-ish. Sorry, 2017, 14. Geez, my gosh. And fact check me on that. Holy crap, I've lost track of time. All I remember was just how easy that was for Russia, and the idea of moving politically to capture the land bridge to Crimea, which is kind of, I don't want to say it's all like a vacation area, but it's a very nice area where Russians go and have gone for a long time to vacation. And so I've been very lucky that I've spent quite a bit of time in Russia. And, here's a live map of, the current conflict. And you can see this isn't a specific push, in a very precise area. This is fighting throughout the country. And especially, I don't know if you guys can see my arrow here, but no. But you can see sort of the peninsula that goes to Crimea would give them access to Crimea, and so you can kind of see that entire, everyone's talking about going all the way up the Tiber here towards Kiev and just carving that out for Russia at its most extreme. That appears to be the goal. Given the outbreaking of fighting, but certainly that in this look, I'm no political or geopolitical and or person who knows anything about this. Zero financial advice, zero political advice, zero advice ever here on this channel. But just wanted to put it in context of what we're seeing, and what we're seeing is Russia wanting to regain the land they felt they've lost, in a sense, and by way of a lot of interesting, observations of how to do so, and sort of, they kind of proved how well it could work in Crimea by offering passports. There's this very pragmatic, approach of offering passports and offering things that would get this idea of separatists, this idea of Russian nationalists in the area. And, I won't get too deep in the woods on it, but you can kind of see where they're going with it, and, how it ends up affecting markets is being downplayed at the moment. And, we'll see. We saw a huge rebound, I think, as people were getting this news. It was very, very well timed, this article being distributed, or this number being distributed, about 5%. And so I think markets sort of rebounded to that response, certainly in the crypto space, big time. Saw that big spike up because of it seemed like an adjustment to the announcement, as all of crypto does. But it brings up a good point as to what is that that the space can do to prevent, or is the space so unregulated that it's going to exacerbate? And I think that that's kind of the real discussion point that I'd love to raise in a couple of discords, more like Twitter Spaces. Honestly, this isn't the format for that. I just wanted to get it in your head, to speak out and think about within your own creations, because it's going to be a space where we're going to have extremists being unregulated. This is kind of no voice can be shut out if Web3 is operating as it is, without any sort of regulation, it being all just smart contracts. It's idealistic, and to some degree, it's great that no voice would not be heard, and all great ideas can find a rallying point of some sort, but also a lot of really bad ideas. And so I think that's the concern of governments, and that's a fear of a lot of governments, and why a lot of FUD you'll see coming out of very dictatorship style governments. Russia, China. Come on, those are like the biggest sources of FUD in the crypto space, for good reason, because their populace was getting into the democratization idea of Web3 within mining, within all these collective goods associated with Web3. But I think as these are built out, we can also see potentially the collective bad. We're seeing a lot of false, again, there's balance to both sides here. A lot of false videos, fake videos will come out of situations like this to gain support and sympathy for one side or the other. Propaganda is now on YouTube. it's something always been, but I think it's a bit more intimate than some sort of video of soldiers marching. I think this is a much more personal interface, and sort of will look to connect with movements within, say, like our own country. The announcements of some members of our own country choosing to side, with one side or the other, is it's interesting. I don't know if we've ever have we ever done that. You're like, oh yeah, that was very justified, that war. But I think does that signal a danger flashpoint for us, where the narratives of governments that are not of our own can come in and collect support in a big way. I think massive way, thereby blocking any other support to the other country. And where we're talking about Ukraine, and if the Republican Party is going to serve as pro Putin invasionists, I don't want to call them that, but if they're supporting an invasion based upon a narrative that has been dictated by that government, it's interesting how they can connect, and will be able to do so without any sort of intermediary anymore. And again, I'm not getting political here. I'm getting more about the actuation of Web3, because it could go the other way quite quickly. We could have again, an outside government, outside influence trying to connect with a base within the U.S. and being able to do so with no constraints, no one in the intermediary. And so hit me in the comments. Do we need a governing body of some sort? Do we need censorship in this space until we can curate to a point that we feel okay that we don't need it? It's the idea of radicalization, I think, comes certainly in my point of view from these heck, these videos, look at these, like, people who love, or now hate Becker, just like Alex Becker. It's just like, these very powerful personalities that come across with seemingly good information that makes us want to be engaged in a way that makes us hate Cardano holders. All of a sudden, suddenly Cardano holders really do seem like, they have, their girlfriends have boyfriends, their wives have boyfriends, and so you start to view and shade perspective in these ways, and so I just invite you to be engaged and in this process as we're looking at the future of the world, but also the future of how we should be approaching Web3 in a manner that's safe, in a manner that's equitable, and not so gosh darn damaging. Be safe out there. Take care of each other. Be well.